honestly, disappointing I thought was like the wrong word at first, but now I've noticed that it's actually kind of a perfect description. Not saying the album's bad whatsoever. One of One is actually the reason I found it disappointing is because I was fully expecting this to be like a gift and a curse and to be more on a tone of Gunna or Drip Season Forever. It kind of isn't. The album has it's very top heavy. It has a very strong half, and then it kind of gets really boring and really like samey on the second half. That's multiple problems. It kind of feels like he didn't really try and space out the album with the track list. He put all the best songs first, all the worst songs last. Which, I mean, sure, like, the start of the album is a really, really fun listen. But the second half of the album is not as fun. It's nowhere near as fun as the first half. I mean, you get the first half, you got Neck on a Yacht, 101, Hakuna Matata. Is the Roddy Ricch song at the first half? No, the Roddy Ricch song is at the first half. Prada Dim is on the first half with a really fun Offset verse. But instead, the bottom half becomes more like plasticky, more fakey, more not as fun. And there is a reason for that. Is because the album is so dang long. 20 songs, Gunna? 20 of them? The reason it gets into curse, one of the reasons it's like a lot better than this album, is because it's not as long. I don't remember exactly how many songs A Gift and a Curse is, but it is significantly shorter. It definitely ain't 20 songs. It feels a lot more digestible. A 20-song Gunna album is not that digestible, in my opinion. I know this is kind of off the topic of like Gunna, but Roddy Ricch definitely has the best feature on the album. Very fun, very nice to listen to. Almost like I hate to say this about Roddy Ricch, but I feel like people are gonna say like, "Oh, this is the start of a Roddy Ricch comeback," and I'll happily jump on that train if I notice him like starting to get better in his own music too. But I don't know. I feel like every time Roddy Ricch drops a really good song or a really good feature, everyone says he's about to come back, and then he kind of goes right back into the hole he was digging himself. Also, another reason I probably found this album so disappointing is because of how excited I was for it. So that isn't entirely the album's fault. It's a little bit of my own fault. If I wasn't as excited for it, I probably wouldn't have went into it with such high expectations and fell short. You know what I'm saying? Should have been shorter, for sure. That should have been so much shorter. And another problem is certain songs that are short last way too long. They definitely overstay their welcome, and I don't like when songs do that. I think that's such a big problem in a song if it overstays its welcome. Like, if a song is too long, it really bothers me. Like, certain 3.5-minute songs should have either had a feature to keep it more exciting and fresh, or Gunna, you should have not added that extra verse at the end. Like, it's kind of like, and they're all samey too. They all overstay their welcome, and they're samey. If they weren't so samey, it wouldn't have been as bad. I seen like, what's his name? What's it called? Bald music. I'm blanking. Fantano. There we go. Fantano. I seen his review was just him sleeping on a bed. Or not on a bed, but like with a pillow and a blanket. And yeah, it was a pretty funny bit. They keep that going for like 10 minutes straight, and then randomly jump up to like give a rating, and then say transition, and then go right back to it. It was funny. But I feel like my version of that would have been talk about it for the first half, and then randomly go to sleep halfway through the video. That honestly perfectly sums up this video. Because I remember on Twitter, or on this album, not this video, I remember on Twitter seeing like everyone hyping it up at first, and then like once it had been long enough for like the second half of like people to be hitting the second half of the album, it's kind of like, oh my god, where'd all the fun go? You know, like what happened? A lot of people went from calling this album of the year to not. Which isn't entirely like, I don't know. I feel like everyone has the same like perception as I do. That the album is definitely too long, and the reason I'm talking about it for 5 minutes is because that is the biggest glaring problem in music. I feel like not in music, but like in rap albums as of right now, they're too long, and I guess I'm kind of adapting to it. I talked about this a little bit in the Offset one, which y'all should be seeing before this. I also talked about how it felt long but it also didn't because he had such a strong presence throughout the whole project that you don't really notice it. But on this one, you can notice it. You can notice that it's dragging. Gunna doesn't have as big of a presence. A lot of the production is nice. That's about it. Don't get me wrong. There are great songs. Every album that's too long does have great songs. Neck on a Yacht, One of One, Let It Breathe, Akuna Matata. Really good songs. Trish isn't even that bad. I do think Trish kind of gave a lot of people, what's it called whenever you like snippet syndrome? I think that's what it's called. Like they heard the snippet, it was like, yeah, this is a lot better than we think it's actually gonna be. I still like the song, but I definitely don't think it was as good as a lot of people were hyping it up to be. I don't even think the single for this album was that good. What's happened? I mean, it's a good single, like it's a good song, but I definitely didn't listen to that and immediately it didn't lower my expectations because I'm a very naive person, but it made me think. I was like, I hope that whole album doesn't sound like that, you know. I really don't. I really hope Gunna manages to find a way to go back into fall back into his pockets. You know what I'm saying? Like Wanna is a album where I feel like Gunna, it's his best album because he was managing to stay in a pocket and switch to different pockets. He was just matching the vibe and the energy the best. Drip Season Forever kind of does that, but not as good. And Gift and the Curse managed to kind of go back into that a little bit. But anyway, yeah, honestly, simple. It's just too long. I mean, the first half is pretty good, bangers, production's good throughout the whole album, but honestly, it's crazy. Like, the reason I keep saying it is because the fall off is insane. Not Gunna's fall off. Gunna's still huge. Like, the fall off in this album from the first half to the second half. So overall, I would probably give it like a 6.5 out of 10 because I don't like saying stuff is mid, but like the half of is good. Honestly, I shouldn't even call it mid. I think a 6.5 is actually pretty good because the first half is good songs. The second half is not bad songs. They're not bad. They're just, it gets boring. It gets boring. Like, it gets so boring. And that's the problem. If it was shorter and maybe honestly, if you spaced out the good tracks better, it would have kept my energy going. But even then, I would have been like, well, I'd go on a drought, but then I'd get woke up. And then I'd go to sleep, and then I'd go woke up again. But anyway, yeah, 6.5 out of 10, that sounds right.